Hey, it's me, it's Rex Rebelheart, Rex Hunting Dog, whatever you want to call me. And something I don't do enough on this channel, I want to do more, is take these recorded videos where I speak about, games I've played, which I'm really hyped about, which I think are really, really cool. So, one of them I want to talk about today is a game I haven't yet streamed on the channel, but I'll probably stream a gameplay run of it at some point because it's just so great and I do want to revisit it. Is Hi-Fi Rush, which was this like rhythm-packed adventure from Tango Gameworks. The day one shadow dropped on Microsoft Game Pass. I remember that day really well. I was like with my partner at the time, and he announced this game, and I went to download it, and it was just sick. It was a really cool special day, which I remember quite a lot. And as soon as I started playing it, I knew it was going to be kind of something special, especially because of sort of the talent behind the game and how sort of visually different it looked. And it was just giving me sort of like, that like quirky, like Japanese sort of Dreamcast vibes. I was just like, oh man, I'm into this. That sort of like vibrant, pulse pounding experience where it feels like kind of jet set radio-y, kind of crazy taxi, like distinctly like Japanese and vibrant, and like this is a video game, merging that like rhythm-based gameplay with the stunning visuals and the really smooth animations and smooth combat. It's not something that happens a lot. It's not something we see a lot in games, especially not now. So it's just really exciting that just sort of came out. And the fluidity that comes from like the blending of the action and the rhythm, it was really well put together. I think the dude who directed it was the dude who directed what's it called, Evil Within 2 from Tango as well. And I haven't given enough time to the Evil Within games, so they're definitely sort of like on the list. But what I've played of them, they were like really well paced and cohesive and whatever. So, and I think that's kind of like translated to this game here, because like the art direction, the narrative, the comedy, like the character, the gameplay, the music, like it's all really like in sync with each other. It's really great. Speaking of that art direction specifically, it's just like so colorful, so comic book inspired. It gives that real like electric atmosphere that goes alongside the electric gameplay. Really cool. One of those games where just like every sort of frame, like kind of like I know it gets cited all the time. It's like a thing, but it's really just sort of like a touchstone reference, modern reference, isn't it? That Into the Spider-Verse thing of you pause it at any point, you take any frame, and it looks like this stunning sort of like comic booky, pulpy sort of piece of art. And the same thing really going on here. The dynamic animations, when it's in movement, or even if you just take a frame and you've got all the sort of colors and bold lines and stuff, and like the onomatopoeia, it's just like so cool. The sound direction, is absolutely incredible, and it's the same sound director, I believe, Masatoshi Yanagi, who did the sound direction for the previous Tango game, Ghostwire Tokyo, right? Which also had like real sick sort of like sound design for all like the Oni demons and whatever, and moving around that place. It just like, obviously this game is sort of like relying on the choice of music, but also the sound design of kind of the attacks and the movements of of machinery in the environment and the bosses. So it's not just like picking like, oh, this is sick because it's got like this Prodigy song in it, cool. It's everything else that's like feeding into that, and how that sound, and not just the sound of like the the songs that have been chosen, enhance the immersion. So it's not just like, oh, we got these really cool licensed tracks, and we've got even these really like cool original pieces, but it's all the things that enhance it, in terms of the overall sort of like Foley and sound effects and stuff like that, which goes hand in hand with that really sick game feel, right? Like hand in hand, that really sick game feel of just like, your button inputs, they feel they have weight, they feel they have, significance. It doesn't feel, nothing feels automatic, right? It gets into that really. Well, I mean, you look at the people who made this game. You look at that it comes from Shinji Mikami, and it kind of has that same sort of like, Capcom, Resident Evil. I know when we start talking about the Devil May Cry, going to the Bayonetta, we're focusing more on like Platinum there, but it still has that set in Clover Studio, but it still has that sort of origin from like that production house, right? Because you've got like, I said, you've got Shinji Mikami, you've got like the creator of the legendary creator of Resident Evil. So that just like with him on board, he's a guy who's there like helping inform and direct this like incredibly innovative and just like sick feeling, just really good game feel, right? Combat system. Like, he's a dude who's like got experience of doing that, like he, I'm not gonna say redefined, like he defined. Yeah, I don't want to say revolutionized, he evolutionized, right? Like survival horror, and he's got like so much experience in designing, tight, satisfying combat mechanics that shines through like here as well. The fusion of those like rhythmic combos with action gameplay, it creates this sort of like addictive challenge. And I think this is a game, at least for me, I'm somebody who doesn't, replay a lot of games. When I do, there's kind of years of separation before I go back to it. But like for me, this does fit into that category of like a Crazy Taxi. This does really fit into that category of me of sort of like a Crazy Taxi or a Space Channel 5 or a Jet Set Radio. Again, where you can just kind of like pop it in and just like go. Because it's arcadey, despite it, being this like third person, action game, right? It still has that kind of like really like arcadey, like, oh, they jump in, do a few sequences, do a few verses or whatever they call them. Similar Bayonetta, right? So for me, that like it does have that like addictive challenge, which feels fun because it feels like neon white. I put that in that same sort of category as well. It feels like I'm controlling it. It feels like I've got that really sick game feel, and then it's not just like it feels really, really tight in the same way like a Super Mario does. It feels really, really tight, and then what I'm rewarded with is something really, really sick, because I get these like stylish combos which are enhanced by like it being on top of a Prodigy track or Nine Inch Nails, and then that's enhanced again by the music that's attached alongside it. So it's just like, this is fun. It's something that's totally unique, man. It's like, it's actually totally unique on so many levels. And fans of like action rhythm games find themselves like really hooked. It feels like a Dreamcast. It feels like a PS2 game. It feels like something we were playing back then. And I say that it's like it's an ultimate compliment. I say that's like an ultimate compliment of something that's really like fresh but also familiar. Now the situation of what like sort of politically happened to Tango Gameworks, and I can't remember who owns them now, whether it's Tencent or I can't remember who's bought them, but the fact that like Microsoft bought up that studio and dissolved that studio and then are like, oh man, we need studios that make like critically acclaimed games. It's like, good. That's not the point of this video though. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is for me to just simply gush on Hi-Fi Rush for a while. If you haven't played it yet, I would recommend playing it. It is, I think it's on like every platform now. Like it was always on like console and I think like PC through, like Game Pass Ultimate or whatever. But it's got a PS5 port now. It's on Switch. I'm pretty sure it's on Switch, right? And those games have got like, cool t-shirts for Kai to wear. I don't know, man. If you haven't mastered Hi-Fi Rush, I really, really recommend you would. I'll probably play on the channel sometime. If you're interested in seeing me playing on the channel sometime, I don't know, drop a comment or whatever. If there's any other games you want me to talk about, I've played a lot of games, so there's a good chance I've played it, and I'll be happy to talk about it. But yeah, what are your opinions on Hi-Fi Rush? Any sort of comments or likes or whatever is really appreciated, because it helps me grow the channel, and it's nice to see the channel grow, you know what I mean? And it's been a real good first year here on the channel, and I'd like to sort of keep that going. But anyway, peace out, everybody. You guys take care.